Hello, everybody, and welcome in to this week's episode of the Magnify Wealth podcast. I'm Cameron Gann, and I'm here with my co-host,
Scott Gann.
Today, we're going to be building on a previous episode we did on your financial foundation. So, in the last episode, we talked about how important it is to protect your income and to protect your assets. So today, we're going to really dive into what that looks like from an overall protection standpoint and how we use cash value life insurance to really expand upon that. So Scott, why don't you give a bit of an overview on what we're going to be looking at today?
Yeah, so what's important in foundations is actual financial protection, and that comes from various areas. Income to start with, health, property, and life. We're going to expand in those areas to protect and explain how cash value life insurance, as Cameron just mentioned, is a bit of a missing piece in a lot of people's financial houses to achieving good stability and growth potential.
So first of all, we'll look at some of the core areas that you mentioned. First being your income protection. So put it this way, what do you think the greatest asset you have is? A lot of people will say, your house, maybe
Business or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Really what it is your ability to earn. Take for example, if you make $100,000 and you are going to work for another 30 years. That's
$3 million.
Exactly, $3 million. So we need to ensure that that income is insured in the form of disability insurance is an important thing in case you become unable to work, but also emergency funds. And in what we do, the emergency fund is taken care of with cash value within life insurance as a method of filling in cash flow gaps if you either are unable or just go through a period where something comes up that you can't work. Maybe that's a death in the family, or if your business just has a couple really bad months.
Well, yeah, that's right. Exactly. It could be completely not health related, especially if you're running a business and you go through a dry spell of some sort, or you have to shut down, i.e., COVID. And we've had that happen with lots of businesses in the past. So those are things, and of course, again, that goes back to life insurance, right? We need to protect your family and your business if you're not here. The second one would be the health protection. So the necessity of health insurance is growing more. I know a lot of people think that we're covered here in Canada. Well, we are once you enter the hospital. Now the services are, as most Canadians know, it's kind of a fragile system we have, but also there's additional costs that go outside of that for drugs, for outside care like rehab and things like that. There's things that aren't covered. So proper health insurance is absolutely paramount because it can derail your goals for sure.
So lastly, property protection. So whether you're a homeowner or renter, there's insurance that should be taken there to protect yourself from disaster of your place of residence, as well as obviously auto insurance. It's forced upon us obviously to have auto insurance, but to not to have full protection, which is very important. If that would be a financial disaster if you get in some sort of sticky situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's and the idea of liability, man. You get in an accident that's your fault, and let's say you T-bone a high income earner, whatever, and the only income earner in their house, and with young kids. Well, maybe your liability doesn't fully cover it. Be aware. And make sure that liability is extended to a large number. It's not expensive to expand that.
Yeah. And then obviously, like we talked about house, we talked about car. If you have any other physical assets that are valuable enough to warrant insurance in case of disaster, those should be protected.
So the next thing is business protection. And as business owners, you need to cover potential lawsuits, business interruption, liability. So same kind of things that run on a personal side, but they get intensified with business, especially when it comes to liability and lawsuits, for the simple reason that if something happens, somebody has a slip and fall on your business property, people just immediately think businesses are just flush with money, and they're the ones that they want to chase for benefit, or for their own benefit. And frankly, business interruption. I mean, like we already talked about, there's been lots of businesses interrupted back in 2020 and 21. The second part of this is protecting everybody involved. So the first one is partnership. So if you're in a partnership and it's incorporated, of course you need a shareholders agreement or a partnership agreement if you're not incorporated. And those agreements usually come very detailing a buy-sell agreement. And what that means is if one of the partners was to die or become disabled, there's very specific processes in place or direction in place to either replace that person or wait for that person if they're disabled. And if that is too long, then there's other clauses that can be built in. But again, shareholders agreements are paramount. They protect everybody, and they give you an automatic place to go when something like this happens. And the funny thing is these agreements, when it comes to health, like disability and life, a lot of times they're written into agreements, but they're not actually funded. So you need to really think about the liquidity and the ability of your business to be able to fund that without insurance. But if you're not insuring it, but really the most cash efficient way to do it is to insure it. It's like anything. If you can insure it, it's likely the most cash efficient way to eliminate a risk.
And then that takes us to the other side is, we talk about protecting everyone around. There's also key person insurance. So that is, do you have someone in your business that if you lost them immediately with no warning, would your business falter? So what key person insurance does is come in if that really important person in your business passes away or becomes disabled. The key person insurance can, keep your business afloat while you figure out what's next in your business.
It's basically it's bridging cash basically. And of course, state protection, which goes back to life insurance. There's lots of estate planning tools that we can use built into that foundation, like wills and trusts, all part of the foundational stuff, as well as the right insurance we already talked about. And then of course there's the possibility of long-term or lifetime healthcare needs, and it's really important to understand that those those costs are rising, and they can and will derail a retirement if it's not properly planned for.
And the final area of protection we'll look at is debt protection. So it is very important to have outstanding debts, have the ability to pay off outstanding debts if you were to pass away. So if you and your spouse have a large mortgage and you're the primary income earner, then if you pass away, you're leaving a large debt with without the ability to pay it off to your spouse. So having life insurance in place there allows that to be taken care of in a very, like you said, cash efficient manner.
Right. So exactly. So obviously there's lots in there. Mostly what we do in these situations, people come to see us, is we kind of just break this down piece by piece. I mean, this isn't something you just kind of throw in a basket and say, all right, let's get all this done at once because it's obviously important. Yeah, it needs to be done in an efficient way, but these are all pieces that need to be addressed separately. So just know that you need to have professionals involved, help you organize all this stuff. So now we're going to transition to what we like to talk about quite often is the role of or or why specially designed high cash value dividend-paying whole life insurance. So, while this type of insurance does provide life insurance protection, the cash value stands out because of its unique way that it grows, as well as in the utilization factor. And again, we talk about this all the time. It is a growing tax-free asset, so it grows at interest, tax-free, very, very, basically very handsomely, I guess, or large over time. And the key here is it's always available. So it has that, what I always call the luck factor, the liquidity, use, and control. You always are in control of that, and you always have the ability to use it on demand. It is contractual in those contracts.
And we talk all the time about using it for opportunity, but within the scope of this episode, it really does provide protection as well, because like we talked about, we want cash efficiency. Like the liquidity, use, and control gives you that cash efficiency. When you need money to bridge a gap, you have it available.
So let's go into this. So we talked about the dual benefit of protection and investment. So it is it's the most unique insurance product out there for sure, that provides cash value and death benefits. So there are, both of those are, as Cameron just mentioned, protection mechanism, both emergency wise as well as the death benefit.
Yeah, and of course, we touched on the flexibility. You can use it for whatever you want, which is something you absolutely need when you don't know the future.
Exactly.
Right? So if something bad happens, most resources people look to for cash will turn away from bad things. So, you need that pure liquidity that you can use money in whatever way you see fit when you need it.
So and again, we're going to talk in a separate episode on building on the explosive growth aspect of cash value life insurance. So again, we're talking about protection here. So just know that it is a key long-term savings vehicle in this episode, but also provides that protection of emergency fund and death benefit. Yeah. So, want to try to roll this one into a close here, Cameron?
Yeah, I think that covers what we need to cover today. So remember, everyone, it is absolutely important to ensure that anything that's going to cause a devastating impact to your financial life is covered in a cash efficient manner. Because you hear people talk about insuring everything. We're not telling you to insure everything, because not everything would be disastrous. But if anything has the ability to be disastrous, it needs to be protected.
Yeah, for sure. So it's and again, we're talking income, income, health, property, business. All these things should be reviewed and discussed with partners involved, whether they be spouses or business partners. And really, this is what we're talking about here, is creating that huge, solid foundation. And that's it. So encourage you to review everything on this, and we're always here to help.
Thanks, everyone. Please do like, share, subscribe. Have a great week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Magnify Wealth Podcast with Scott Gannon. Remember to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform for more insights on the infinite banking concept. Until next time, remember, immediate action is the most efficient way to achieve your goals.